Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces virtual worship service. My name is Sarah Reyes and I will be today's moderator. Here's a couple of things that will help make our service run a little better. Number one, please keep yourself muted and your video off during the service and during the songs. Number two, the words of the songs and doxologies will be shared on your screen through Zoom. Number three, we will turn off the congregation chat function throughout the worship service to minimize distractions. However, we will have the chat function available during a few segments for you to interact with, if needed. Number four, you may also widen your own screen when in the split video option. This will make it easier to view service associates' lyrics on screen, as well as the videos within the service. Finally, for best audio service, we recommend using headphones if you're alone or a Bluetooth speaker if you're in groups. Please enjoy today's service.
Good morning and welcome. I'm delighted to be with you this morning. I'm Catherine Massey, Director of Music, and I had a mishap this week, and I am going to thank you for your patience as I remain off camera for this week. We are going to sing together hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us. While I'm off screen, the lyrics will be on screen, and I invite you to sing with me in the Zoom way. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
We are heirs to the tradition of Universalism and the doctrine of universal salvation. Although we are not bound by the theology of our ancestors, we will be wise and richer people if we continue their spirit of a radical trust and inclusion. May our worship be filled with this spirit.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to light the candle for the chalice lighting, and then Reverend Schulman will give us some chalice lighting words.
We are Unitarian Universalists, people learning to have open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands.
Please join us in saying our church's affirmation of covenant and singing the doxology in English and Spanish. The words are printed in your electronic order of service and will appear on your screen. Love is a doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with creation. Thus do we covenant with one another. Good morning and welcome to the continuing virtual service for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces. My name is Vanessa Mendoza and I'm your service associate for this service. Our minister, the Reverend Kalani Kachela, is not in the pulpit today. He will return in August. Reverend Phillip Schulman is leading worship this morning. Unitarian Universalism has no creed or dogma. We are a covenant-based church, meaning that we agree to live in relationship with each other according to the Unitarian Universalist principles and our congregation's covenant of right relations. We embrace diversity in all its forms. Everyone is welcome. You can learn more about our church and check the events calendar at our website, uuuclc.org. In order to help contain the spread of the coronavirus, all meetings and services at the church are currently being held using Zoom software. If you have any questions about how to use Zoom, you may contact Sarah Reyes. She's the church's technical support staff. If you are visiting us today, we'd like to meet you. Please introduce yourself by turning on your mic and camera. Please share your name and tell us where you are. We also like to know about how you heard about our virtual worship services. Do we have any visitors this morning?
Hello. My name is Sandy Goodwith, and I'm a member of the Olympic Unitarian Universalist Fellowship up here on the Olympic Peninsula. And I know Reverend Phil Schulman from his long, active, deeply respected work in mental health justice. I'm on the UU Mental Health Network Board of Directors. And I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, Sandy. We're glad to have you. Do we have anyone else? No? Okay. We're pleased to have you. If you are feeling shy, but you would still like to learn more about our services, you can drop your email in the chat box and we can send you emails about services and activities about the church directly. Also, directly following this service, there will be a 15-minute opportunity to fellowship with one another. Just stay linked into this site after the service ends and you will be placed in a breakout room. Please be aware that religious education begins at 11:30 and that's with its own Zoom link. Thank you all for being with us today. I only have one announcement today. This is from Katie Fitzgerald, point person from the church's 2021 fall auction. We are looking for folks interested in sharing talents and time by providing an event or service the church can include in its auction. We are hoping to add some of our perennial favorites with new events or services as we get a chance to know each other better. If you're interested or have questions, please give me a call at 928-303-2350 or email at hhands39@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Today we have Reverend Phillip Schulman. Reverend Phillip Schulman is the product of two religious families. His paternal aunt was a pillar of her Jewish congregation and partially responsible for his Jewish upbringing. His mother was the oldest of 14 in the region's largest Catholic family. Reverend Schulman says that Unitarian Universalism emphasizes that we need not think alike to love alike, and that fits him just right. His social justice work drew him to our denomination at age 23. Rev Schulman graduated from Star King Seminary in 1989. For decades, he worked as a community-based minister, focusing on eco, peace, and justice issues, also advocating for human rights in the mental health field. Some examples: he worked with the UU Ministry for Earth. He also created a program that saw 30 congregations plant approximately 3,500 trees as green sanctuary projects. Using principles of peer support and nonviolence, Reverend Schulman organized and supported numerous communities of care to serve people struggling with addiction and other mental health challenges. As a district consultant for the Southwest UU Conference, he has led nonviolent communication trainings. Reverend Schulman has served as a minister for congregations in California, New Jersey, St. John, the U.S. Virgin Islands, San Antonio, and Houston, Texas. Reverend Schulman, we are very pleased to have you with us this morning.
I wanna be where the talk of the town is about last night when the sun went down. Yeah, and the trees all dance and the warm wind blows in the same old sound. And the water below gives a gift to the sky, and the clouds give back every time they cry. Make the grass grow green beneath my toes, and if the sun comes out, I'll paint a picture all about the colors I've been dreaming of. The hours just don't seem enough to put it all together. Maybe it's as strange as it seems. And the trouble I find is that the trouble finds me. It's a part of my mind. It begins with a dream. And the feeling I get when I look and I see that this world is a puzzle. Find all of the pieces and put it all together, and then I'll rearrange it. I'll follow it forever and always be as strange as it seems. Nobody ever told me not to try. Not to try. Always try. Always try. And the water below gives a gift to the sky, and the clouds give back every time they cry. Make the grass grow green beneath my toes, and if the sun comes out, I'll paint a picture all about the colors I've been dreaming of. The hours just don't seem enough. Put it all together, always be as strange as it seems.
Hi, I am Melva and I went to the Makers Camp. I am also the creator of this. very, very fun. And I'm sure that all the other kids would like to say thanks too.
Reverend Schulman, you're muted.
Excuse me. I'm going to share a nigun with you. And nigun is the Jewish melody, sometimes paired with words. All melodies are wordless, and this one has no words. It's a spiritual tradition, and I offer it as an invitation to us to move further, continue into this sacred hour of worship. And I invite you to participate at home in any way that works for you. You could just listen. You could be doing something else when you could sit, you could sing, you could hum, you could clap, you could, most of all, let the Spirit move in you. It's not about the right notes. Let the Spirit be with you and flow with you as I sing. Yada bida bum, yada bida bum, yada bida bum, bidum bum, yada bida bum, yada bida bum, yada bida bum, bidum bum, yahirai, 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 yai dai 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 yai dai yai dai 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 yada bida bum yada bida bum yada bida bum bidum bum yada bida bum yada bida bum yada bida bum bidum bum yahi dai yahi dai yai dai 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 yahi dai yahi dai yai dai 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 yai dai yai dai 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 yai dai yai dai 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 dai. Final time. Yada bida bum, yada bida bum, yada bida bum, bidum bum, yada bida bum, yada bida bum, yada bida bum, bidum bum. Yahi dai, yahi dai, yai dai 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 dai. Yahi dai, yahi dai. Yai da 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 da. Yai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai. Yai dai 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 dai. Yai dai dai dai.
One of the ways we support one another in community is through the sharing of joys and sorrows, especially in this extended time of social distancing. It is crucial that we make attempts to stay connected to one another. Our church's website has a link which allows you to confidentially submit a joy, sorrow, or milestone to Reverend Coachella. You can specify if you'd like your submission shared with the caring team and or the congregation, or if you prefer it to remain confidential with the minister. We have one joy/concern that was sent today. This is from Mark. Oh, and I hope I don't butcher your last name, Sukantar. Mark. He says, it seems everyone knows I had a seizure on Monday and was very briefly hospitalized. I am fine now. Thank you all for your expressions of concern, and thank you very much for stepping up for me during Reverend Rod Thompson's visit, which was just great. Thank you. I hope you feel better, Mark.
first reading, excerpt, the last portion of Chief Seattle's oration, of one of the most fantastic documents in US history. There was a time when our people covered the land as the waves of a wind-filled, wind-reveled sea covered its shell-paved floor. But that time long ago since passed with greatness of tribes that are now but a mournful memory. Your proposition seems fair. We will ponder. Should we accept it? I here and now make this condition that we will not be denied the privilege without molestation of visiting at any time the tombs of our ancestors, friends, and children. Every part of this soil is sacred in the estimation of my people. Every hillside, every valley, every plain and grove has been hallowed by some sad or happy event in days long ago vanished. Even the rocks, which seem to be dumb and dead as the swelter in the sun along the silent shore, thrill with memories of stirring events connected with the lives of my people. And the very dust upon which you now stand responds more lovingly to their footsteps than yours, because it is rich with the blood of our ancestors, and our bare feet are conscious of the sympathetic touch. Our departed braves, fond mothers, glad, happy-hearted maidens, and even the children who lived here and rejoiced here for a brief season will love these somber solitudes, and at eventide they greet shadowy returning spirits. And when the last red man shall have perished, and the memory of my tribe shall have become a myth among the white men, these shores will swarm with the invisible dead of my tribe. And when your children's children thinks themselves alone in the field, the store, the shop, upon the highway, or in the silence of the pathless woods, they will not be alone. In all the earth, there is no place dedicated to solitude. At night, when the streets of your cities and villages are silent and you think them deserted, they will throng with the returning hosts that once filled them and still love this beautiful land. That white man will never be alone. Let him be just and deal kindly with my people, for the dead are not powerless. Dead, did I say? There is no death, only a change of worlds.
Our second reading is A New Heart by Chaim Stern. Who can say, I have purified my heart, I am free from sin? There are none on earth so righteous that they never sin. Cast away all the evil you have done and get yourself a new heart and a new spirit. A new heart will I give you, a new spirit put within you. I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart that feels. For thus says the eternal God, I myself will search for my sheep and seek them out. As a shepherd seeks them out whenever any of the flock go astray, so will I seek out my sheep. I will put my spirit within you and teach you to live by my laws. For I desire love and not sacrifices, the knowledge of God rather than burnt offerings.
Hello, this is Greg Reporter, and this is Take Me to the Alley, one mic, one take. Well, they build their houses in preparation for the king, and they line the sidewalks with every sort of shiny thing, but they will be surprised when they hear him say, take me to the alley, take me to the afflicted ones, take me to the lonely ones that somehow lost their way. Let them hear me say, I am your friend. Come to my table, rest here in my garden. You will have a pardon. You will have a pardon. Take me to the alley. Take me to the afflicted ones. Take me to the lonely ones that somehow lost their way. Let them hear me say, oh, I am your friend. Come to my table, rest here in my garden. You will have a pardon. You will have a pardon. Take me to the alley. Take me to the afflicted one. Take me to the lonely ones that somehow lost their way. let them hear me say, I am your friend. Come to my table, rest here in my garden. You will have a pardon. You will have a pardon. Rest here, lonely one, hungry one, tired one. Rest here in my garden. Whoa. Whoa.
That's the Universalist spirit. The following story took place in the late 20th century. One icy winter, the Gallaghers, a couple from Minneapolis, decided to go to Florida. They planned to stay at the same hotel where they spent their honeymoon 20 years earlier. Both husband and wife had hectic schedules, and it was difficult to coordinate their travel plans. Mr. Gallagher left Minneapolis and flew to Florida on Thursday, and Mrs. Gallagher planned to fly down the next day. Mr. Gallagher checked into the hotel and decided to send an email to his wife. But in typing, he accidentally left one letter out in her email address. Without realizing his error, he sent the email. Meanwhile, in Houston, the widow Gallagher returned home from her husband's funeral. He had been a minister for many years, called home to glory following a sudden heart attack. The widow decided to check her email, expecting messages from relatives and friends. After reading the first message, she fainted. The widow's son rushed into the room, found his mother on the floor, and saw the computer screen, which read, "To my loving wife. Subject, I've arrived. Date, February 5th, 1999. I know you're surprised to hear from me. It's amazing. They have computers here now and you can send emails to loved ones. I've just arrived and have been checked in. Everything has been prepared for your arrival tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you then. Hope your journey is as uneventful as mine was. P.S. Sure is hot down here." Humans have an innate fear and resistance to death, to dying. Religion has existed because it contributes to the fulfillment of a basic human need to mourn and honor our dead, and to make sense of all of our experiences. Death of a loved one is the kind of experience that tends to trouble our mind and challenge our ability to make sense of life. John Donne wrote, "No man is an island entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if it a promontory were. as well as if a manner of thine own or of thine friends were. Each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. Therefore, send not to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. The unexpected or premature death of someone close can stimulate pain and disturbance. Loved ones become a vital part of how we experience life. Death has the potential to greatly alter our worldview. Mourning is part of the way we integrate loss. Reverend Forrest Church, former minister of All Souls UU Church in New York City, wrote, quote, "Religion is the human response to being alive and having to die." Reverend Schulman wrote, "In response to death, religion offers us meaning and mourning. Both are gifts." Universalism, one of the two primary roots of our tradition, offered a bold and hopeful proclamation that after we die, each and every one of us will be saved, reconciled with the source of life, with God. Now, that language might not speak to all of us. However, we don't have to believe the literal truth of the words of the doctrine in order to claim it as our inheritance. We can reflect upon it and wrap our brain around it. And if we do this for a good while, we will likely find encouragement and hope. It may even impact our worldview profoundly. What is universalism and how does it matter to us today? Our universalist forebears rejected the Calvinist doctrine that dominated the minds of European settlers on this continent. That doctrine taught that most of humanity was predestined for eternal damnation. Oh yeah, most of us have rejected that idea. So what's the big deal? Well, imagine when the normative assumption was that the source of life of each and every one of us would condemn us to an eternity of suffering. Imagine the psychological impact that had on individuals and society. This doctrine continues to influence individuals and society. The Universalists dare to challenge the assumption that piety depended on allegiance to a God believed to be set on damning most of us for eternity. Perhaps our inheritance is sounding better already. But wait, there's more. The Universalists dare to proclaim their faith in the love of the one who created us. Like most Christians, they assumed that suffering was a result of being estranged from God, from the source of love, power, and goodness. They postulated that if the Universalists postulated that if the goodness of God could be counted on, if the love of God could be trusted, and if God was infinite in power, then surely divine love would win over human failings. Sin or whatever kept us from knowing divine love would prove inferior to the opulence of God's love. Sooner or later, that love would shine a beacon upon the dark crevices of our estrangement. And sooner or later, that love would become irresistible to us, and we would no longer languish in realms of confusion, believing ourselves separate or undeserving of love. Imagine the psychological impact of this sort of thinking upon individuals and society. I believe it made it possible for love to come into this world in a way that it hadn't before. I believe that it made possible the knowledge and experience of love in human relations in a way that wasn't possible or as likely before. I believe that the non-violence movements of Gandhi and King would not have come to be without the emergence of the gospel of hope known as universal salvation. It's possible that nothing greater has been given to erode the powers and principalities of a system of privilege and domination. We don't have to take the Universalist salvation doctrine as literal or final truth in order to understand how it challenges the premises that made it possible for the conquest and decimation of the Americas and its natives. Universal salvation challenged and continues to challenge the premises upon which many of our social institutions have been built. Premises of privilege, that earthly wealth or poverty is a reflection of God's favor or disfavor, God's reward or God's punishment. It's easy for most of us to identify with the part of our tradition that rejects the God of eternal damnation. However, if as individuals or as a movement, we stop there, we forfeit much of our inheritance and our claim to the power that gave reason for hope and something greater. It is possible for us to move beyond the dualistic tendency to assume that a doctrine is either literally true or silly superstition that must be rejected. Even if you identify as an atheist or have otherwise distanced yourself from a personified deity, the concept of one, you too, all of us can consider this perspective and worldview that is based upon a radical trust of the blank that brought us into existence. I said blank, I left that a space, and no word can fully fill it. I could have said the intelligence that brought us into being, or the love that brought us into being, or the creativity that brought us to be, the order or mystery that brings us to life. Will you go here with me? For this is part of what it means to be a religious liberal. How did our ancestors conceive of unconditional love? All of our social systems were and still are built upon the notion that good people deserve to be rewarded and bad people deserve to be punished. That's why some humans cheered at the news of bin Laden's assassination. That's also why some humans cheered when the trade towers went down. In each case, there was faith that punishment would teach a lesson and make the world better. The faith of universalism, universalist salvation, is different from that. It suggests and assumes that there is love that is greater than we have witnessed in human relations. It suggests that there is something worthy of our faith, a faith that's more than might makes right. It states that the one who created us is capable of loving us no matter what we do or have done. Said differently, it says that nothing we can do could put us forever beyond the reach of this God's ultimate love. It suggests that unconditional love, not reward and punishment, but unconditional love will bring us to love. This sentiment was echoed by A.J. Muste, who said, "There is no way to peace. Peace is the way." What if the ultimate source of our existence is love? Would we live differently if we trusted the power of love and the power of creation as one and the same? How would we live if instead of believing that God or the universe was out to punish and condemn us, most of us, if we believe that God is, or life, universe is calling us toward fulfillment, and ultimately it will come to us, or we to it. A modern way of saying this might be to say that the universe is conspiring for our fulfillment. Consider it. A common contemporary interpretation of Unitarianism says that we all come from the same source. A modern interpretation of Universalism is that we all share a common destiny. How might humanity behave if we believe this? Our Unitarian forebears emphasized that we were all created by one God. Our Universalist ancestors proclaimed that God would welcome all of us into the kingdom of heaven. Imagine if people gave up hope of getting into the exclusive club, the gated community of heaven. What if we stopped placing our hope in individual advancement and our hope of maintaining a position of privilege? What if we placed our hope in something beyond individual advancement? These days, few of us speak of the kingdom of heaven. More often, we do use the phrase beloved community. Similar. We speak of inherent worth and dignity of every person and the interdependent web of existence of which we are a part. One way I like to translate the doctrine of universal salvation into our current parlance is to affirm that there will come a day when human perceptions of separateness and fear of death will cease. And we will come to a memory or an awareness, a discovery of our oneness, unity, and interdependence with all that is. Anyone who has been UU for a while knows that it's possible to have religion that isn't centered on a doctrine or a set of beliefs. It's a significant break from the past. We say that we are bound together by covenants, promises we make to each other about how we will be together and what we will do together. For covenants to help us hold life as sacred, love must be present. Our covenants only make us religious people if they point us to an awesome love that is greater than we have seen, and maybe even greater than we imagine or can imagine. UUs have been getting religion for some time now. We've rediscovered that liberal religion need not be limited to intellectual discussion. Some have suggested it's presumptuous for us to assume that our intellect is capable of a comprehensive understanding of all that is. And yet, countless generations have found life meaningful. Meaning and purpose are gained not just by intellect alone. It's reached by heart, passion, care, love. What is going to give us a sense of fulfillment when we are on our deathbed? Will it be a sense of connection to a loved one, to family? Will it be having spent our life in service something larger than ourselves? Will it be experiences of awe and wonder of nature? Will a sense of unity with life or with great mystery take us there? Will it be a peace that passes understanding, a trust in God or life to guide us into whatever happens after we die? As important as ideas are, it is actual experience of love that gives us a sense of meaning and purpose. Love is a basic human need, and without it, we lose. We lose vitality and the capacity to thrive. To know and learn love, we must experience love. We must love. May this be a sanctuary where love abides. Our tradition including the second U, which I've emphasized today, has given us something we can treasure. It has shaped our living liberal religious faith. It has given us a gospel to offer the world. We are called to show the world that people with different theological beliefs can come together and build or work for beloved community. We can welcome others to join us in claiming all life as sacred, all life as kin. Today, you heard the Universalist message that we have been called to know and show and share a love greater than the kingdoms, the nations, the sovereignty of the organizations and power in this world. When we go out from here, we can draw upon this inheritance of faith and love that brought us all to be, and ultimately will welcome us home. Amen. Blessed be.
We continue to practice social distancing in order to preserve the gains made to deter the spread of the COVID-19 virus. That is why we're not joining together in worship in our physical sanctuary. We remain committed to one another, connected in spirit. Many of the expenses of the church continue despite our not meeting in person. It is vitally important that any of us who are able to continue fulfilling our financial pledges do so. Please refer to the electronic order of service or refer to the member section of the church website to see how you can continue doing so. All through the pandemic, the church has continued its support of organizations identified by the Social Justice Committee as recipients for our Change for Change program. We can't collect your actual change, so please make sure please make your donations by check or through the church's website. This quarter's donation will go to El Caballo.
I'd like to share with you a Universalist hymn in our gray hymnal, Oh, the Beauty in a Life. The words are by Bishop Toribio Quimada, who founded the Universalist Church of the Philippines, and it is based or set to a Filipino folk tune. Oh, the beauty in a life that illumines honor anew, that models wise and gracious ways to every seeker, that every day shall serve in joy and do the right. Oh, praise the life whose beauty shows a justice true. Let not service of the good be confined to great saints alone, but every hour be part of all our daily living. Set not the hope of wisdom's grace beyond our ken. How wide the path, how close the goal which love has shown. Oh, the beauty of a life that illumines care of the soul, that knows a love that is for self as well as others, that every day embodies praise for every good. This is the faith to which we turn, our God and goal.
If you are joining this worship service, are looking for a spiritual home, and are sympathetic with the Unitarian Universalist values and principles, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Las Cruces may be the place for you. We believe that when you become a member, you're entering into warm in deep relationship with the church and all of our members and friends. You are becoming a part of something bigger than any of us. You're becoming a part of a movement to change our community and our world. The way you join the church is to sign the virtual membership book through the link in the electronic order of service, or you can call the church, leave a message, and someone from the membership committee will contact you.
Our closing hymn is There Is More Love Somewhere. And I invite you to sing with me this wonderful African-American hymn. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere.
You're muted, Rev Schulman.
Us into a spirit of prayer in whatever way is meaningful for each of us. As I cite these words, Spirit of life, blessed of all creation, we give thanks for this day, for this service, for this sanctuary held in internet-connected space and this congregation. We give thanks for the support and the challenge that we have found here to go out into the world to carry the spirit of universal salvation and the contemporary forms of universalism within our living tradition, to carry the hope the love, the courage, and the inclusion. For we know we share a common origin and a common destiny. Amen. Blessed be.
Please join me in saying the words to extinguish the flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of commitment, or the fire of warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Play, play, play.
Go out into the highways and byways. Go out, and give the people something of your new vision. Oh, go out. Oh, go out and give the people something of your new vision. You may possess a small light only, but uncover it and let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Use it to bring more understanding to the hearts and minds of men. Go out into the highways and byways. Go out into the highways and byways. Go out into the highways and byways. Go out, give them not hell, but give them hope, and give them courage. Give them hope and courage, not hell. Do not push them deeper into their despair. Do not push them deeper into their despair. Give them not hell, but give them courage and hope. And preach the kindness and the everlasting love of God. Go out, go out. Go out, go out. Go out, go out. Go out into the highways and byways. Go out, go out, go out, go out, go out. Go out into the highways. Go out into the byways. Go out, go out, go out. Let it shine, let it shine. Uncover your light and let it shine. Give them not hell, but give them hope, and give them courage. Give them hope and courage, not hell. Do not push them deeper into their despair. Do not push them deeper into their despair. Give them not hell, but give them courage and hope. And preach the kindness